the 60s school. And all those policies that were imposed on us impacted our lives. Not only was I impacted, my grandparents were impacted. My children, my grandchildren were impacted. So if you look at us up here, now when you leave, you'll see many of my people outside. They are suffering from intergenerational trauma. The effects are so devastating because that government's agenda impacted our 5 senses. When I say that, when I hear something, I'm triggered. When I smell something, it takes me back. When I feel something, my body feels, my body reacts, and so forth. As survivors, we live with nightmares. So, and those nightmares are horrific. Though when I reflect, that was 60 years ago. To this day, I still have nightmares. And they're so real, and they're so vivid. So these triggers, I live with triggers. I also know how spiritually confused we were. Because those government systems that was set to take the Indian out of the child and to eradicate us in Canada from existence through genocide impacted all of us. And within those systems, when I look at my own journey as a survivor, what is my role in truth and reconciliation? I'm one person. I'm on my own personal journey. My children are affected. My grandkids are affected. But we're starting to address those issues of intergenerational trauma. And we have tabletop discussions in our own home. We speak about the trauma, the loss of parenting, and all those behaviors that we adapted to survive in residential schools. No, in that process, I'm healing because I'm able to share. I'm able to trust. But in that process, when you look at reconciliation and ask yourself, what is my role in this reconciliation process? And I urge you to look at white privilege. White privilege comes with many, many benefits. And it benefits everyone who's non-Indigenous. Those policies that were drafted when Canada became Canada were drafted by people who were traumatized and had to flee Europe to come here to begin a new life. So I urge you to look at your own history. Do your own healing. Have conversations. No, we were a self-determining nation. Self-determination needs to be acknowledged. We need to look at all these policies look at it from a personal perspective. Because we need to heal together. Reconciliation is not about just me telling the truth of what happened to me. It's a collective responsibility. When I say collective, I'm on my journey as one person, one tiny spectacle in the universe. I have a community that needs to do their own healing. Cities, in the workforce, the programs, they need to look at systemic racism, all those structures that are in place. Our people suffer from intergenerational trauma. They come to these institutions asking for help. Many of our people are dying in hospitals because of the system and the system that hires that individual with their own racist mentalities. Many of our women are missing. They're murdered. They're two-spirited, go unfounded. I was watching the news last year, I think it was, and a woman in the United States had gone missing. It hit the airwaves. So the whole country knew about this one missing non-Indigenous woman. So every police force was sent out. In Canada, our women go missing. The only time that it's reported is when they raid someone's farm and the remains of our brothers and sisters are found fed to the pigs. So that's the only time that we hit the airwaves, when our people go missing or murdered. We have, if you've been following the radio, you look at racism. I was recently, I think last year, I was invited back to Canmore to do a pipe ceremony on National Indigenous Day, and I went back. I had to go back as part of my own journey. And as I was sitting there and reflecting, I remember being bused to Canmore to attend grade school. That was my second exposure to how harsh the reality for a little girl like me in a non-Indigenous world. I faced criticism, racism, prejudice every single day that I was in school. And as I sat there as an elder, I reflected. Because when I refer to have tabletop discussions in your own home, and as I reflected, I thought, as children aren't born to be racist. They come into this world as innocent beings. Racism is a learned behavior. It's passed on from generation to generation. We need to address that. Where did it come from? And many have also the racism that exists. I fear for my children's well-being. The very forces that are out there to protect us is killing our people. During the last several weeks, 9 Indigenous beings were shot by those very people that are supposed to protect us. So these issues need to be discussed. The truth has to be told from both sides so that one day we can come together and get to know each other, so that towns like and cities like Calgary always do liners. And one of the things that I always hear is Calgary's a thriving young community. It's a diverse community. So in that process, we need to educate each other. We need to look at how we can all live together, how we can restore peace, trust, and live in harmony. We need to be courageous as individuals to challenge those oppressive systems that have impacted our people, my people as well. And for newcomers, educate yourself. I know that Canada is made up of traumatized people that come here fleeing wars, oppression, and so forth. When you get here, start your own healing journey so that you don't bring those racist, hostile, aggressive behavior and impose it on others here in Canada. Educate yourself. Because I'm on my own path of healing. I'm training my body, but I'm triggered. Not that little girl anymore. I'm an elder. I'm a woman. I'm a mother. And I want to develop meaningful relationships so that together you and I can go hand in hand in the process of reconciliation. Thank you. Stay
Oh, thank you. Yes,